Oh, that deal. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Eyes on Texas channel. Of course, you know me. I'm your host, AK, and we're back here with a live stream today for you. The last live stream that we did have, of course, was going to be February 3rd, which was the last National Signing Day, as our Texas Longhorns did, in fact, end up as the 17th overall rated class in the class of 2021 cycle. So congratulations to Coach Sark in a transition year, and congratulations to the Texas Longhorns. Welcome, everybody. If you just go ahead and give a quick comment, and I will mention your name and say horns up to everybody, because I am AK, the owner, operator, moderator, whatever else you can say about this channel, because I'm the only person and the only face that anybody has seen thus far on this channel. With that being said, as I did say, the main topics of this live chat, this live stream today is going to be overall recruiting in the class of 2022. The big time major topics that most people are going to want to talk about, at least I want to talk about, is going to be the quarterback position. Of course, then we're talking about Maalik Murphy, the big time playmaker. Well, he hasn't pretty much plays together out there in California, as most of his production is going to be on the 7-on-7 scene. And of course, we're also going to be talking about Cade Klubnik in the 2022 class in the quarterback scene. And in case you just joined us, Connor Weidman did also commit to the University of Texas A&M, and I will talk a little bit about that, why that is good for the University of Texas. And also, just like I did say, there is three major players of impact that I feel in the 2021 upcoming season, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. And during my last live chat, someone asked a good question. They asked about talk about defensive tackles. I want to hear you talk about defensive tackle prospects. And man, to be quite honest with you, I was quite stumped. You know, I didn't have a couple of answers. I didn't have any good answers. So I did, in fact, look into that these past couple of days, in addition to other things as well. But we're also going to be talking about a couple of defensive tackles that Texas did offer. One of them was going to be back. I'm going to call it a re-offer, offered on the 21st of January. And then just recently now, going to be on the 4th of February, Texas offered the second individual that we're talking about. But let's just go ahead and dive into it. Those of us can get a thumbs up. There is 8 of us in here right now, so if you can currently give me some thumbs up, as I would very much appreciate that. And I will go ahead and get us started into talking about the quarterback battle in 2022, as far as recruiting and who the Texas Longhorns are going to get on that. I believe that it's going to come down to Maalik Murphy and Cade Klubnik, as I see it coming down to. Of course, first, let's talk about Maalik Murphy. He is going to be a very giant individual, 6'4", 6'5", right around there, 220 pounds. He is going to come from Jupiter. He's going to come from California area, part of Sark's West Coast connections over there. Not much actual game film on Maalik Murphy. Most of his film is actually going to be the 7-on-7 kind of sort of stuff. And camp individual kind of sort of stuff as well. So Maalik Murphy, as far as game production, not quite much, but whenever he is judged up against the best of the best, whenever he is compared to the best of the best prospects, he has been evaluated very highly at these camps, and that's why he is a 5-star prospect. I do believe he is in the top 18. I believe he's number 18 or 20 in the 247 Sports, talking about Maalik Murphy. But there is very little film of actual game film on him. He is mainly a camp and 7-on-7 guy. He did recently take a picture with class of 2022 commit, talking about Armani Winfield recently, as they're on the same 7-on-7 team, and giving up the horns up was going to be Armani. And in the picture, Maalik Murphy just looks absolutely 100% massive as a prospect. Looks absolutely 100% massive. So he's all of that 220 pounds. He is nicknamed Baby Cam, but it's not really for his athletic prowess as far as running the ball. It's more for his athletic size, I do believe, in my personal opinion. But talking on to Cade Klubnik, he is someone that absolutely rose this past year, as this was going to be his only real major time starting, as whenever he was a sophomore for his high school team in Austin Westlake. He only did get filled in role as they did have an incumbent starter, and he was deemed better than him. So he did burst onto the scene as a junior in this past season. Absolutely amazing season as he led the Chaparrals, as he led his team to the Class 6A D1 state title over Quinn Ears, the number 1 overall prospect in the class of 2022, and a big-time head-to-head battle that flat out 100% that Cade Klubnik did outperform Quinn Ears in that battle. Both of them, I do believe, were injured. I believe Klubnik was going to be ribs, and I believe Ears might have been a shoulder, but both were going through struggles during that game. Throughout that game, in the beginning, we did see Quinn Ears show out the reason why he is the overall number 1 recruit. The first 2 series, he was absolutely pinpoint. The first 2 series, he was absolutely money on a dime. And then throughout the game, the overall strength and depth of Westlake did, in fact, take over. But Klubnik in that game, he did outshow him. He did outshine him. I believe he had 97 yards on the ground rushing, showing that speed as he is a 200-yard sprint center for Austin Westlake Chaparrals, showing that speed whenever he did turn around the corner. Klubnik did, and he had 220 yards passing and did not throw an interception. So did outperform the number 1 overall recruit in Quinn Ears that day. So that is going to be the big take. That is going to be the big question. Is it going to be Connor Murphy or Cade Klubnik? So feel free to put down in the chat section if you guys want to put down any questions, any comments, or if do you in fact do prefer Murphy in this, or do you actually do prefer Cade Klubnik in the 2021 quarterback and the 2022 quarterback? Great debate, because that is sure to be unfolding. And of course, you did hear another Texas offer was going to be Connor Weigman, however you do pronounce his last name, as I'm known to butcher them all. Connor Weigman is going to be a dual threat candidate in the class of 2022. And he did recently sign with Texas A&M University, and I'm going to let you know why that is a good idea. That is why that's good information. That was great news for the Texas Longhorns. Because when it comes down to it in Texas for what is still left available on the board, there was a great debate between which one Texas was really going to pursue, which one Texas was really going to go ahead and reoffer and spend its time investing its time in recruiting. And I'm talking about, was that going to be Cade Klubnik from Austin Westlake, or is that going to be down south in Texas just a little bit more? And of course, I'm talking about Connor Weigman. And then in the end, it did seem that Texas was choosing the route of taking Klubnik. It did appear the route that they were pursuing him more. They did express more interest in Klubnik over Connor Weigman. So the fact that Texas A&M did get the commit from Connor Weigman in this 2022 class really frees up that space. It really clogs it up. It doesn't really frees up the fact that Weigman is now in Texas A&M University. Another aspect and the reason of concern why Connor Weigman to Texas A&M is good for Texas is that Cade Klubnik, his whole entire family is going to be Texas A&M University graduates. So the fact that his overall number 1 rival, let's say, in as far as the quarterback prospect in the state of Texas going to be is thus eliminated from that. So I believe that's positive for Texas. Weigman is out of the equation, now committed to Texas A&M University, because the fact that Weigman and Klubnik both being in the same recruiting class on the same university is not feasible, not tangible in my estimation, just to let everybody know. So the fact that Weigman to the Texas A&M University is a good thing for University of Texas. Yeah. Imagine Cade still commits to A&M. Yeah, man, that's just really what I was just talking about. Ghost fan, it's good seeing you. Appreciate you seeing you in the chat. Saw you last time. Horns up to you, sir. Man, I see Cade Klubnik, and Connor Weigman not going to the same university. You know what I mean? I see the fact that them being rivals as far as the recruiting cycle, I think it's going to be a hard pitch to get them signing both of them. Best of luck to them. I mean, if you really feel that way, that A&M can, in fact, sign both Klubnik and Weigman to the same class. I don't think they're really going to do that. Texas A&M University does have a, let's say, negative history. Let's say negative history of stacking up their quarterbacks. They've lost Kyler Murray, transferred out just a few years back, as well as a couple of others. Sumlin is well known for having problems stacking up his quarterbacks. So I don't see the fact that Connor Weigman and Cade Klubnik going to the same university in the same class. That's just my personal opinion. But appreciate the comment there, Ghost fan, always. And as well, there's 15 of us now. If y'all can go ahead and give us a thumbs up on that, I'd appreciate that as well. If you're new to this live stream, if you're not seeing my kind of sort of content, I do like to produce college football content, Texas high school football content, and just overall Texas Longhorn content pretty much every single day of the week. I do live streams. I like to do monologue kind of sort of videos. I also like to do some live chats as well as this, and highlight videos as well. So if I could get those thumbs up, and if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I would very much appreciate that. Yep, I 100% agree with you, Scott. I do not see them wanting to go to the same university and stacking them up, not at all. And again, horns up to you, Scott, and I appreciate the comment very much, very much. But who are y'all liking so far? Since we actually got some people actually came in little comments. I'll just bring back what we're talking about earlier. Okay, so you weren't in the chat room then. Who do you like at the quarterback position as far as 2022? You like Cade Klubnik, or do you are preferring Maalik Murphy? Of course, Maalik Murphy, not much film on him, as he's going to be mostly known as the 7-on-7 guy, the more camp guy. And of course, Cade Klubnik absolutely showing the skills, showing the chops, 100%, dueling it out, showing himself that he's an absolute leader on the football field, guiding his team all the way to the state championship and the state championship final. So you just 100% cannot outrule, you 100% cannot discredit Klubnik for dueling and out battling Mr. Quinn Ears on the state final game. And it is true that that he did have a little bit more stacked team. He did have the better squad, as that defensive front seven was just all over Ears that day, 100%. So it is a little bit hard. It is a little bit difficult to compare that 100%. But the stats don't lie, as he did not turn the ball over, outplayed him, and in North Shore as well, you absolutely cannot overrule and outrule what Cade Klubnik did against North Shore. 100% can't do that. As they started out the first half, Westlake came out strong. Westlake came out very strong. And then what happened is North Shore's got lots of primetime talent. They have lots of big-time playmakers, and they did, in fact, come back on them. So the fact that Cade Klubnik did lead his school back to that state title, and in that semifinals, he had to lead his team to a fourth quarter comeback drive, and he did have to lead that score, and he had the winning rush. You know what I mean? He had the winning. It was like 1.5, 2 yard rush with a minute and a half left in that game. So he manned up. So that is where he gets his points. Is going to be on the game, and that's where a lot of people do give the thumbs up to Klubnik. So me, I'm not ready to state my approval either way. I do know, and I do like the fact that we are getting out-of-state recruits, big-time major recruits to take a look at us. Because look, man, if we're not going in here and if we're not plucking the top-rated kids from in-state, if Ohio State and Alabama is straight rating our state and the top Texas kids aren't committing to Texas, why should we not reach outside our borders? You know what I mean? That's really all I got to say. I think Klubnik will commit. I feel like Murphy is still considering those West Coast schools. Man, those West Coast schools, I do know that he was more hardcore on UCLA. I do believe that he was going to be a hardcore UCLA lean before Texas and Sark really started getting into him, before they really started laying those chops into him. So I feel that maybe if Texas would be able to convince Klubnik that they are only seeking him and only have tunnel vision on him, and that there is no any other options out there in the class of 22, i.e. we're going to shut it off with Murphy, i.e. if that person that I'm not talking about does decide to listen to us, if we were to continue to stop with him, talking about Quineers, if that was to happen, if we were able to shut it down, absolutely 100% quit speaking to other candidates in the class of 2022, which I don't see any university ever doing anyways. I do feel that Texas could get Klubnik to shut it down. I do agree. And once they get stacked, up, they leave. Stark talks about it. Yeah, I do believe I saw a stat that 34%. I could be wrong in this, so don't quote me. Don't beat me up if I'm wrong. 34% of all 4-star and 5-star quarterbacks at some point transfer out of their first school they originally committed to, either via the transfer portal now, or either via quitting and no longer graduating from that team and then going somewhere else, or now being a grad transfer. So that does kind of sort of happen without a doubt. And Klubnik's teammates are going to Texas. Yep, we got a couple of walk-ons, and we did recently offer an offensive lineman who might kick into guard as his offensive tackle and might kick into guard as well. So Coach Flood is recruiting all his teammates, just like he said. You know what I mean? There's different ways to win. You know what I mean? And recruiting guys in your backyard and has its advantages 100%, and you got to take advantage of them. And the fact that we are a hotbed for recruiting, the fact that we are a very, very target-rich environment, we need to take advantage of that. But like I said, if they're not coming to us and they're not want to commit and they're going to Alabama and they're going to Ohio State, we also do need to stretch our borders out as well. So both ways I see it. Yep, he did outplay Quineers. I would agree with you as well. Yeah, man, that I talked about that earlier, man. That Westlake defense was awfully salty. But I'm going to move right along as far as the topic of conversation right now, and I'm going to go to the 3 players that I feel are going to have the biggest impact on Texas in the upcoming season in 2021. Of course, there's 85 scholarship players, and they all have impacts in some ways. You know, some are starters, some are going to be role players, some are going to be special teams guys, and some are going to be your absolute major ones, studs that are going to go to the league, right? But these are going to be my top 3, and it's going to be the top 3 for this year and on down the road. That's why it's biggest impact for Texas this season. And let's just go ahead and throw and beyond that as well, beyond to the 2021 season. But starting out, without a doubt, I got to hand it to him, our number 1 overall player, but 3rd overall impact for as far as I'm concerned. That's going to be Bijan Robinson, running back. He's going to be number 5 on our team. Absolute baller coming out of Arizona. As a true freshman, he absolutely balled out for us. He had 2 consecutive games in which he had 12 touches and he had over 200 yards of line of scrimmage. He was the only player ever to do that twice in one season, and then he did it back-to-back games, man. That is absolutely amazing. That is absolutely incredible. We are going to give him the note. We are going to give him the rock, and that's what is going to happen in my guesstimation. As let's face it, Sark has had a 1,000-yard rusher every single year that he has either been a head coach or every single year that he has been an offensive coordinator, and that will 100% continue to happen. And that main guy getting the lion's share of the carries, getting 18 to 22 carries a game, is going to be Bijan Robinson. And we all saw the talent. Everyone saw the talent come out of Bijan Robinson. Not only is he a great talented individual, he's a great representative for football. He's a great representative for the University of Texas. Stan Drayton absolutely did hit it out of the park, absolutely got a home run. But he's going to be number 3 on my list, and not higher up on number 2 or number 1 by the fact because he did come in with so much hype. He did come up with so much talent. He did come up with so much momentum. And the fact that Stan Drayton did work with him and has worked with him and has exceeded him as a running back and as a person. But a lot of that is what Bijan did bring to the table. And I believe we all could recognize that, and we would all go ahead and agree with me on that as well. The fact that Bijan did bring a lot of that to the table, and that's why the fact that it is going to be number 3 and not number one. I really could flip flop my number one and my number three for that one reason. Is my number one is going to be at the number one position. But again, let's talk about Bijan Robinson. He is going to be the guy that we are going to give the ball to 2021. We have a new quarterback coming in. Sam has gone to the NFL. He might go in the 6th, 7th round, might not be drafted. But what needs to happen is Bijan Robinson needs to be the focal point in the backfield to make our new quarterback comfortable, to make our unsettled offensive line look good, to make our whole entire defense not stay on the field for series after series, for us not going 3 and out. The fact that you have a running back and a running game that you consistently give and feed the ball to and get great production from cannot be thrown on the bus. And that man we have is going to be our major talent in Bijan Robinson, and that's the guy. That's my number 3 choice. So with that being said, I feel very solid about Bijan Robinson. Like I said, he did have the 200 yards lines of scrimmage from back-to-back games, finishing up for Texas, and both of those are going to be with under 12 carries. That's not going to happen coming up next year. That's not going to happen coming up. Sark's going to give him the ball. You know what I mean? So that's what I expect to see. I expect to see a Joshua Moore as well. You know what I mean? The thing about Joshua Moore is whenever he came down and he made his impact, he would also go. You know, he would also ghost. He would also ghost out like our friend here in the comment section. But that's gonna be my main issue with Joshua Moore. Great player. You know what I mean? He proved that he deserved that starting spot. He deserved to be on the field more. And that's something else that we're also going to see with Sark. I don't think we're going to see all of our players being rotated in and rotated out as much. I don't think we're going to see IE as much Kai Money time this year. You know what I mean? Kai Money, great story, great individual, great kid, I'm sure. But as far as being out there running with the ones whenever that's going on, I don't really see that happening on. Less rotation as far as the wide receivers in the skill position throughout in my guesstimation. And I agree with you, Victor. Sarkisian will bring out the best in our players, not only with his play calling, but also like where he positions the players. I remember especially watching the national championship game, watching number 6, the Heisman Trophy winner, and how he would best way for me to describe it, we boomerang him back towards the line of scrimmage pre-snap, just getting him moving, getting people not being able to, get a good read on him as far as the defensive position, because that with all of our players, I felt we were very stagnant under Herman and pretty much all of our time here on the 40, and pretty much I've been a fan of the Texas Longhorns and the Dallas Cowboys, both the teams that I do follow. It just seems that both the teams and every team that I do follow, I don't ever seem to have this innovative play caller, this innovative mind, this guru, you know what I mean? And now I'm very excited because I do feel that we might have this. But there's 22 of us in here. If there are some new folks in here, I would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, as I do try to produce this kind of sort of content to you every single day of the week here on the Eyes on Texas channel. Also, thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate that. But let's move on from Bijan Robinson. Love Bijan. He's an absolute 100% beast. Glad Drayton got him. Glad we retained Drayton. Bijan Robinson, number 3 player of impact. Okay, so moving on to number 2, and it's not going to be a player. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. This might sound a little bit confusing, but to me, the number 1 player is who. The number 2 player, is going to who wins the number 1 QB. Whoever's QB1, I believe, is going to be the second most impactful player for the Texas Longhorns coming up this season. And of course, I'm talking about Casey Thompson and Hudson Card. So let's kind of sort of talk about the difference of them. Let's talk about Casey Thompson and what he's got going from him. We all know what Casey Thompson's got. He is going to be the more incumbent player. He's been on the 40, I believe, 3 years now. He's been on part of the squad going into his 4th year. And he did have that Alamo Bowl explosion. So if y'all want to talk about that in the comment section, you want to start building up a talk for Casey Thompson and building a case for Casey Thompson getting the starting and being the number 1 QB on the Texas Longhorns. Talk about that Alamo Bowl game. But absolutely threw the ball deep showed everything really that Sam wasn't, right? The ability to throw the ball deep, accurate downfield, and deliver it with zip. That was kind of sort of the thing that Sam Ehlinger, which we all loved. We all loved our old QB1. We all loved the general, I'll say. But he never did deliver the ball deep downfield, and he never really was able to put the ball tight with zip down in a window. So that's something that we're definitely looking forward to with Casey Thompson, but also Hudson Card. And what does he bring to the table is what I believe before going into this year, before that Alamo Bowl game, I thought 100%, 95%, let's say, that Hudson Card was going to be the choice between these two. That they would battle it out all this spring. They would battle it out all summer long, and eventually that Hudson Card would eventually win the job either either in the early to late fall, or would go ahead and win outright during the summer, and then thus Casey Thompson would go ahead and transfer. But ever since that Alamo Bowl victory over the Colorado Buffaloes and that absolutely brilliant game, also by Bijan Robinson, you know, I mean, let's not doubt he did have that guy in the backfield, number 5, making him look good as well, which helps him in that offensive performance. But the fact that Casey Thompson did have that game really did help him. And, of course, Hudson Card did show up in that game. He did have some late time game. Didn't look quite as polished. Didn't look like quite as well organized. Didn't quite know what to do with the ball as far as Casey Thompson did. But that's a little bit to be more expected as the incumbent was going to be Thompson there and had been more time on the 40 with that offense. But this is going to be a new offense, and this is going to be a new year. So the fact that Thompson has been with the Texas Longhorns a little bit longer might not be that much more of an impact. But let's go ahead and start talking about Hudson Card and what he has going for him. Is I believe that he has the number one thing that Sark covets. That's accuracy. Hudson Card, whenever he came out in the 2020 season, he was probably whenever he came out with that class, he was probably the number one most accurate quarterback of every single QB. The QB, the 5-star that went to Alabama, Bryce Young, I believe his name is. His name eludes me at the moment. He also shows and exhibits great accuracy as well. And with him being a 5-star prospect going to Alabama, he got a lot of pub for that. But Hudson Card's number one thing is going to be his accuracy. His football mind is going to be there as well. He's playing for Lake Travis. Played wide receiver his sophomore year, so he has some wheels there. Not quite filled out enough to be a dual threat guy. Cannot take the hits as of right now. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to have the body filled out to take those hits to be a dual threat guy, in my estimation. But he does have some wheels, as he did perform very well. Had 1,000 yards playing wide receiver his sophomore season before he was the starter at quarterback his junior and Caesar season at Lake Travis High School. But Hudson Card definitely going to have an impact. So the quarterback, whoever he is, in my estimation, is going to be the second overall most impactful player in the 2021 season for the Texas Longhorns. Hook them up, everybody. So let's see before I get to number one here. Let's see we talk about, of course, we have Lando, who likes Cade Klubnik. Hook him up to you, sir. Horns up to you. We have Ghost Fan. I said hello to you earlier, but let's go ahead and say what's horns up to you again, sir. Corey Greer, horns up to you, sir. Victor Santiago, horns up, sir. And Lance Hashishi, who likes Klubnik, went to my high school. All right, cool, man. So you know the guy. That's very cool. Very cool, man. Okay. So my number one overall player is going to be number one overall player for many years, because to me what this player does is he absolutely 100% embodies the University of Texas, both what we are and what people perceive are our issues. And really what I believe what I'm talking about there is the issues of the ability not to create players and transform players and develop players, take them from something from high school, have them have a great time in college, and produce them onto the NFL. That is something that is negatively recruited against the Texas Longhorns. So this is going to have a major impact on there to show that we can produce this player and he can change and grow and develop as a Texas Longhorn, have a great season and a great career as a Texas Longhorn, a great college player, and then become a great NFL player. And of course, my number one overall player is going to be DeMarvion Overshown, the 5-star prospect from the small town. I love this guy. Absolutely love the fact that he is finally playing that outside linebacker role. That is absolutely a tough and difficult role to play in this game and age. If you really think about it, all the stresses that is going to be in that outside linebacker role. Let's talk about that. You have to be fast enough now in this day and age, because you cannot just sit out there and just be a thumper and just hit the running back, hit the fullback, and just be in the run game in that capacity. You have to be able to play in space. You have to play bump out these wide receivers. You do need to play in pass coverage 100%. So the fact that it is an absolutely stressful position, an absolutely difficult position to play in, an impactful position on the field, because you both have to play both in the run game and in the pass game. You both need to be physically strong enough in the run game and physically gifted enough and physically athletically ability enough and fast enough to play in the pass game. It is absolutely a demanding role, and it is a demanding role that is coveted in the NFL. But let's talk about him as a player, as a prospect coming in. He was a safety. He was a 5-star safety. Texas got the number 2 and number 3 overall safeties coming in. I believe Caden Stearns was 2, and I believe that Overshown was number 3. Comes from the small town of Arp, Texas, and he came in as a safety. But we all kind of sort of knew and wanted him to grow into that linebacker rover kind of sort of position, and that's where we all believe that his greatest talents and his greatest roof and ceiling as a football player lied, right? But that didn't happen. Whenever he first came onto the scene in the 40, I believe he recorded less than 20 tackles his first season. Didn't have much production. I believe he was injured his second season, but this last season on the 40, he absolutely did shine. He didn't quite break out and explode. I would say that he had a great productive season. He did show the skills, and he did show that he has the skills and the ability to do it, but he more flashed it more than did it play in and play out, with interceptions, with pressure, with the ability to both read the defense and play the run, and both play the pass as well. He flashed it, but didn't show it consistent play in and play out. I believe with having the year under his belt that he can have the ability and will, instead of flash it, I believe that he will have the ability and the capability to do it on a more consistent basis. So the fact that he is number 1 is going to be the fact that he came in as a 5-star talent, had to transition. So that shows that he was developed. That shows that he was worked with by the University of Texas staff, training staff, coaching staff, medical staff, strength and conditioning staff. Something else that's been very questioned. I believe Yancey McKnight was our former strength and a conditioning coach, but that was something that's going to be very much under scrutiny under our old coaching staff, is player development, and of course, thus the ability to get this player in the NFL. So this year we have many candidates that are going to be drafted in the NFL, but they're not going to go very high. The only 2 that we have going late in the first round or early in the second round, of course, is going to be Joseph Osai, who absolutely exploded onto the scene. That's what we need from DeMarvion Overshown this year. We need that kind of impact from DeMarvion Overshown. We need the kind of sort of impact that Joseph Osai had this past season. We need for Overshown to show the exact same impact this season. In my estimation, of course, the other one is going to be our offensive lineman, Sam Cosme. He's expected to go, last time I saw, probably like 25, something right around there. Also did see him going number 20 to Chicago, I believe, as well. But that's what I got as far as the number 1, 2, 3 players on my list as far as most importance. What do you think? What do you guys think as far as 1, 2, 3 on your list? Who do you got? Who do you got, guys? So I did mention earlier that Texas did, in fact, offer out some defensive tackle prospects. We did recently offer 2 defensive prospects at the defensive tackle position, and I'm just going to talk about them just for a moment here. Oh. All right, so of course the first one is going to be Cade Bledsoe, and I don't know if he's actually listed as a defensive tackle prospect or an athlete prospect because it still shows him up as a running back here on the 247 composite. And of course, excuse me, as I've mentioned many times before, that is what I do use. I use 247 Sports. I do believe they are the pinnacle in this field, so that is what I use for a lot of my knowledge and what I base a lot of my respect from. But he's a big, giant individual. He did show lots of running back film on his film that I did look. Very explosive in the run. Great athlete, obviously, as you can see, as you can tell, obviously, with him playing the running back. But his intangibles, his stats is going to be 6'4", right at 265 pounds. He is going to be from Redmond, Texas, in the class of 2022. He is unranked as of this point, which is really good for Texas because that shows that we're getting in on early, and that's what it's showing in with this other defensive tackle that I'm going to talk about from North Shore, talking about Christopher Ross, the other defensive tackle that we did just set out another offer for as well. But talking about this individual, Cade Bledsoe, I do like the fact that he is a heavy-handed individual. Did show a lot of ability on the defensive side of the ball to stuff against the run and the ability to chase down the ball carrier. Shows a great motor in the fact that he's a running back. I do like the fact that his athletic prowess. Again, I do like the fact that we did get in on him early as well. So we believe we might be the 11th or 13th offer on this individual. Yeah, so there's not too many offers out on him as of right now. So we did get on him a little bit earlier, talking about Cade Bledsoe, going to be out of Redmond, Texas. Going to be a new defensive line tackle that we did just recently make an offer out. But another defensive line tackle, this was going to be more of a little bit more of a 3 technique kind of sort of guy, of a defensive tackle, excuse me, a little bit more of a shorter player, 6'3", 263 pounds, great strength from Christopher Ross. As if you ever watch North Shore play, a lot of their guys are thick-legged, man. They got a lot of thick individuals. Looks like their strength and conditioning coach is doing an absolutely fine job out there in North Shore. Of course, they're a big-time major program and produce many prospects year in and year out. But they're always very well developed, very well conditioned. Looks like they spend a lot of time in the weight room and down there in North Shore. And that's kind of also what it looks like. It came from Christopher Ross as well. Again, not nationally recognized, not nationally rated by 247 as of yet, as he did just explode onto the season, just his junior year. But those are going to be the defensive tackle prospects that I did come up with, as I did feel bad that I was unable to come up with any answers for you whenever that question was asked in this last one. But that is all they do is squats at North Shore. Man, that's what it looks like if you watch them play football and you watch them play down there. Whenever I watched them play against Cade Klubnik in that semifinals, that's what it looked like. I saw there. Looked like all those guys were doing squats. But that's good. All the information that I really have for you guys. If you have any questions for me right now, I very much appreciate all the comments, all the questions as of right now. The wife kind of sort of came in on me, kind of sort of gave me the heads up and asking when I'm still talking. Hi, Mom, how we doing? So if anybody kind of sort of has any questions for me right now, go ahead and give the thumbs up, as I very much appreciate it, guys. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? As I do try to produce college football content pretty much every single day of the week. Any kicker concerns? Well, we did get the Aussie punter in this 2021 class, but that's looking a little bit down the line. And then we did get Captain Fro, Bert, Mr. Name, as well as a preferred walk-on as well, just to really give Dick the kicker just a little bit more of a push, just to give him just a little bit more of a push, maybe a little more focused down there at the 40 acres. That might help him come on. So kicker concerns, no, not 100%. Dicker can improve. from his performance last year, but he did make a couple of clutch kicks for us. But we are bringing on Bert Auburn as a preferred walk-on from Flower Mound. So not quite concerns, but we are bringing in Bert as a preferred walk-on to press him a little bit, let's say maybe. Should Texas still try to get Ewers? Cade did really good on the state. Yes, the state final game, without a doubt. Cade Klubnik did, without a doubt, outplay him 100%. I talked about that earlier. He had 220 yards passing that game, 97 yards rushing. Did not have any kind of sort of turnover of any sort, and he did show his speed. Quinn Ewers, he did have a good first couple of drives, but overall, that North Shore depth, that North Shore defense really did start to smother Ewers in the second half, without a doubt. But should they continue to pursue him? Yes. Yes, until that is completely shut down on us. And he did post on his Instagram, or not Instagram, but Twitter, of a deer wearing an Ohio State hat to kind of sort of push back and let people know quietly, that I am committed to the Buckeyes at this point. That's why I'm not going to be doing any videos on them. To me, I'm going to go ahead and respect that, and I'm not really talking about Quinn as far as coming to Texas, but they will pursue that until that is completely gone. But if you need ears to be on board, I think on the game field production is going to be what to be needed there. Yeah, they will pursue him. I do 100% agree with that, but Texas is going to have to show some on the field production in order to open up the eyes and get Quinn on board and listening. What do you think Sark will do with Jordan Witt?
Okay.
All right, guys, well, that's going to be it. For me, I got to wrap it up here. I very much appreciate y'all showing up on the live stream here. I did last about 40 minutes here for you guys. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so everybody have a good, safe time doing that. Very much appreciate it again, y'all showing up. Have a good time this Super Bowl Sunday. Holla at you, boy. Everybody keep your head in a swivel and your eyes on Texas. Hook them up, guys.